Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Andrew Hartman, founder and CEO of Time Boss, a unique productivity consultancy designed to help high-performing leaders master their time, scale with focus, and lead without overwhelm. With a background that spans over a decade in operations, leadership, and entrepreneurial innovation, Andrew brings a strategic and systems-driven mindset to the world of productivity. Through Time Boss, he's helping companies across industries gain clarity on how their teams spend time, enabling more intentional productivity and healthier work cultures. Andrew, welcome to Founders Future.
Ammar, thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me on a little trip down memory lane to before you started Time Boss. What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Yeah, great question. Well, it starts almost 2 decades ago. I was in my late 20s and I was working at a state agency that was focused on marketing technology for all different kinds of companies. So we were essentially building product for all different kinds of companies. Had a portfolio of clients, way more to do than I had time to do it. And I discovered in my late 20s that I had no clue how to actually manage my time. I grew up in a great family, had a great education, knew how to use a calendar, knew how to use a to-do list. I had been handed the common knowledge of how to manage time, but when you have more to do than time to do it, if you don't have a way to think about that, your only option is grind, especially if you want to be successful. And I wanted to be successful. I wanted to do great work. And so I just went on the grind. And that was late nights, early mornings, missing dinners, constantly thinking about work, constantly thinking about those details. And it had a really dramatic impact on my life. And I think this is true of so many modern knowledge workers, people that create value with what happens between their ears. Gallup, numbers from Gallup would say 77% of knowledge workers experience burnout in the last 12 months, meaning they can't get up the motivation to do the work that they're responsible for, whether they're an entrepreneur or working in a corporate job or whatever. So that was me, and I was drowning. It was impacting my family, it was impacting my health. I actually lost my sense of smell for 6 months. I could feel it coming out. I was having these hot flashes, and I could just feel my senses cooking. And clients I work with, I'll hear things like chronic headaches, migraines, unending irritable bowel syndrome, Bell's palsy, where literally half of your face goes numb, hair falling out. Stress will do all kinds of wacky things to the body, and that was me. And so I just hit a red line and said, I've got to figure out a way to get results, to be successful. Because I was a person that wanted to lean in, probably like most people listening to your podcast. We're lean in people. We were up to something. We care about our contribution. I wasn't going to exit the game, but I had to figure out a way to do it without experiencing that much overwhelm. The challenge I faced, I looked around and everyone else was experiencing the same thing. I ended up being in early stage venture backed software environments. We were building really powerful platforms. I was leading product, or I had ultimately ended up being the COO of a couple of those organizations. And everywhere I looked, stress was the norm, anxiety was the norm, burnout was the norm. You would see people sprinting, burning out, sprinting, burning out. And I just thought, there are so many resources available. How come no one has solved this? How come I can't go to LinkedIn and find someone that's figured this thing out? And I go to LinkedIn or I go to these different resources and they were solving a small portion of the problem. And
Mm.
I was a systems guy. And I said, I have got to figure out a simple system I can run. I wasn't looking to build a product for the world. I was looking to build a product for Andrew Hartman. And you'll probably agree, you probably talk to a lot of founders like this. I think the most powerful products are the ones that solve the founder's problem because they feel the edges of the issue. They are very real time iterating to create value because they know, because they're feeling the problem very acutely themselves. It was literally a spear in my chest that I was trying desperately to remove. So went to work on that. Those are my two criteria. Made myself the customer. I've got to get the results that I want, and I got to do it without overwhelm. And week over week, I just iterated tiny adjustments, read a book, incorporated an idea, figured out where I was still experiencing overwhelm, thought about what needs to happen for me to not be stressed out by that thing and still get results. And eventually I solved it. And it was incredible for me. Crushed results. I
Yeah.
could run circles around people without feeling that anxiety and overwhelm. Go home at the end of the day, shut my laptop, close the door, and actually be able to rest and recover with my family. And people started asking me, what in the world are you doing? Would you please show me how to do that? And I realized it was fascinating. I didn't even know I had a product until people started asking me to help them with it. And I joke that we just rode the horse in the direction it was going. And now this is what we do for teams. We teach them how to operate in this framework that allows them to get whatever results they want and do that without overwhelm.
I love that so much. I think this is such an important topic because I talk to founders all day long. And I like how you defined burnout of because burnout can mean so many different things for different people, but the idea that you can't bring yourself or motivate yourself to get up and do the work that you know you need to do. Stress
Right.
is getting in the way, inability to manage your time is getting in the way. I love that so much. So let's fast forward to today to give the listeners more context into Time Boss.
Yep.
Start off with who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with?
Yeah, we love to work with companies 10 to 50 million scaling. Typically, they have 20 to 100 within their company or within their business unit. So it can be business units within a broader company. But scaling companies in particular, those are the environments I was in. They are chaotic. Capacity is constantly changing. And it's very hard to bring your standard set of time management practices into that environment and be successful.
Yeah.
And it's very dynamic. Your habits have got to become reflexive related to what's coming at you. And you have to have a team committed to, hey, nobody dies. Nobody goes hero mode and burns out here. We are committed to each other. We're going to carry this load together and we're going to make this happen together. Time management, as you might know, Ammar, I joke that it's like nuclear proliferation. You pinged me at 9 p.m. at night to ask me a question. So that means we work at 9 p.m. at night. Hey, my boss pinged me at 6 a.m. in the morning. I guess we work at 6 a.m. in the morning. And we all start anteing up because we don't want to be the person that's not pulling our load. And suddenly we're all working all the time and we're all incredibly stressed and anxiety ridden. And so some of what Time Boss does in those environments, in those scaling environments, is just it's a nuclear dearmament. We all are agreeing we're going to stand down. We're still committed to the results we're going to get, but we're going to find a different way to get there that doesn't require all of us to feel this anxiety and burden that we're feeling all the time.
I love that. Let's dive into the different offers and services that you provide because I was checking it out and I see you have two courses that
Yep.
people on the website check out, and then you have the work that you do with the teams. Can you break down to us the different offerings?
Yeah. So our bread and butter is group coaching with teams. And so we do an 8-week course with leadership and management teams typically, where we teach them the framework collectively. And then they work through the friction to adopt that framework. And then we come back ongoing on a quarterly basis. Really, we're just an accountability partner. We just come back quarterly and help them work through any new friction that's developed. Another way I refer to it is de-weeding the garden. Because as you can imagine, you drift or things change the business and you just need a little bit of help to course correct. So that's really our primary offering. The reason why we do group coaching is because changing our relationship with time is a set of habits. You, me, everybody, Ammar, we have lived into how we operate with time as a function of survival. It's really just our best foot forward. We're just trying to do the best we can with what's coming at us. And so, because it's lived into, it has to be lived out of. You literally have to do habit change. I wish time, our relationship with time was a light switch we could flip. I would be much more successful as a business if I could simply communicate in 1 hour and everyone gets it and moves on with their life and they all tell their friends. Really, what has to happen is you have to learn it, but then you have to live it. And so that's really what we do with teams. We also do that for individual leaders. So we have a public course for leaders from any company, any background can come in. We do those quarterly. We have a digital course that allows people to learn asynchronously at their own pace. Very candidly, it's much harder to do that. I think
Yeah.
accountability is often required. Think about anyone that wants to change their relationship with food or change their relationship with money. It's really hard to do that in isolation. And time is no different. And so accountability is so powerful. And then we also do workshops for teams where we teach an entire team at one time. Often that comes after we've done a cohort with a leadership team where The leadership team now wants the entire company to have these principles baked in, so they're all operating together with the same time habits.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think accountability is absolutely critical. I don't know if you've ever heard this line where it's like, if information was the thing that people needed, everybody would be a millionaire and everybody would have six-pack abs. Because it's like,
100%.
it's all
It's
out.
all out there. It's all
Yeah,
out there.
we got YouTube, we've got ChatGPT now. So it's really is that guidance and that accountability of somebody who's been there and done that and can pull you along the journey to get there. I think that's absolutely critical, which makes sense why your group coaching with teams is the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business because I have a lot of coaches, consultants, and agencies that listen to this. When it comes to the client acquisition piece, when it comes to the lead gen and the marketing side of enrolling more clients into your coaching, what are you doing on that front?
Yeah, so our primary focus is two things. Let me step back and say this. What I have found when you're doing transformational work, where you are asking people to change a very significant part of their mental stack, right? Where I'm not telling them to switch from Google Tasks to Microsoft Tasks or Asana to Monday or something. I'm asking them to literally change the way they think about time. That's
Mm,
a that's a fundamental shift, not dissimilar to money, not dissimilar to food, where often what's required is a very strong referral from someone else that they trust. Because it's really challenging to develop enough authority in, especially as we're growing this business. Time Boss is only 2 years old. We're relatively new. We're getting a lot more notoriety, but we are very new. So if someone comes to us and we make the claims that we make about 30% productivity jump, 4 to 10 hours back in your week, guaranteed your stress drops, your overwhelm drops, people are like, there's no way. There's no way. Like we sound like snake oil salesmen. But if Sam, my friend here, says, hey, Andrew, I know you've been struggling. Dude, I went through this thing called Time Boss, or I know a team that went through Time Boss. It fundamentally changed their world. I really think it'd be helpful for you. We literally jump the line, right? Like we bypass so many steps required to build the trust of an individual with that type of referral. And that so really for us, we are looking for referrals. So we very intentionally build out referral partners, and we are looking for business advisors who are already in that seat of authority in the business. Often think of a fractional COO, fractional CFO, an EOS implementer, someone that already has the heartbeat of culture strategy within that organization. And then we are looking to connect with those individuals and simply help them understand how we as Time Boss can help them further their mission. Time is
mm,
often where teams fall down. They have a brilliant 90-day set of goals. They have a great annual vision, 10-year vision, whatever. But at the 10-foot level, where I
yes.
have to integrate between all the things that I'm responsible for and these quarterly goals that you're giving me, that's where people feel that overwhelm. That's where people have all kinds of gotchas that prevent them from taking the actions that they want to take. And that's where Time Boss comes in and tries to solve problems. So we're really looking to connect with, we don't do very much direct. We do a lot of branding. We do a lot of LinkedIn. We're starting to do more YouTube. Like we want content out there for people to be able to find us. For certain, we want to have a platform that when people come looking, that we're very credible and they can get to know us. But the primary time that we spend on the marketing side is referral partners and business advisors. We're looking to talk to those individuals. We're not going direct to the businesses as much.
Okay, got it. So when you say you're looking to find these business advisors, is that like a message on LinkedIn? You're using Sales Navigator? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we are involved in different networking organizations. So my business partner and wife is constantly working through those organizations, looking for those type of individuals. There is some on LinkedIn. We're at a point now where we're in like 7 degrees of separation referrals. We've just been, excuse me, referred to so many people here now that we're really doing a lot of inbound in terms of talking to those advisors, which is great. But it started with LinkedIn, networking groups. I speak within Vistage and Convene. Those are two organizations that gather key leaders and CEOs and essentially masterminds with a coach, 10 to 15 leaders. So I'll speak to those organizations on a regular basis. They tend to have one, that's a great opportunity to speak directly to the people that we want to work with. But two, they also tend to have business advisors that are very interested in connecting with us as well.
Yeah. I like that you do YouTube because it can blowing up on YouTube and having people consume something where they're getting immediate value from it,
Right.
see them quickly converting and being like, hey, let me book a call with somebody like this from the.
And very candidly, hear me say, we are still learning by and far. YouTube is an area that I don't think we've done enough.
Mm,
And some of that is, so you might appreciate this. When we launched Time Boss, I was riding the horse in the direction it's going. I came up through early stage startups, so I'm a big believer in just ship it, get it out there. Don't wait till it's perfect. You can make it perfect later. Just get it in front of people. And over the last 2 years, we have so rapidly iterated on the model from feedback. The base model worked. It was really valuable. But right off the bat, I could see where there was friction. And so we've been iterating and iterating. I'm just such a believer in you have to stay close to your customer all along the way and make those adjustments. I feel like we're just coming to the window where we have it so simple, where YouTube is going to be very powerful for communicating the message very real time. My goal by today, is it June 15th? It is July 15th. My goal by July 15th was to get that down to a single document that it's going to become essentially our Rosetta Stone of how do we communicate those on YouTube, on LinkedIn, across all our different products, based off all we've learned so far these last 2 years. So I've got some room to grow there for sure.
yeah, I love that. And one quick tip I'll give you right now is in the YouTube content, if I were you, I would start a podcast. And in the
Mm,
podcast, a lot of people don't think of this. You interview your past clients.
mm,
And the podcast is structured in a way where obviously you're giving them awareness, but you're getting a testimonial out of it. And then
mm,
if I see you on LinkedIn and I see that you have a YouTube channel and I check that out and then I hear, oh, this guy had this experience, that's almost as strong as a referral. Obviously, you don't
mm.
know the person directly, but it can be powerful. Now
That's great.
with that being said, when it comes to the sales side, so a lead comes in, what are the different steps that they go through for them to actually become a client?
Yeah. So the way our process works right now is we do an assessment. So we spend 30 minutes with them to do a needs assessment to understand where they're at. And really what we're looking for is readiness. So if this is more of a curiosity to them, or they've been thinking about doing some team development, we're happy to spend time with them. Likely we'll do a workshop with them. What I'm really looking to find is the people where truly this is a spear in their chest and they're ready to change. Because those are the people that are going to get results. Those are the people that are going to refer to others. I don't want people coming in where this isn't one of their top priorities to solve. I just don't think we're going to do great work. I don't think they're going to have a great experience. We are asking for premium fees because we want to deliver exceptional results. And so we're really looking to find the right person. If they choose to opt in and move forward, then we obviously have a whole onboarding process and we head on to an engagement. If not, we drop them into a nurture cycle where we're simply reaching out to them on a regular intervals to provide value. So if I'm on a podcast like yours, Ammar, we're going to send that along to them to say, hey, recently on a podcast, we talked about this particular item, might be interesting to you. As we release new assets or materials or new videos, we send those along to them. We're really just trying to stay in front of them and allow that at some point, especially if they were curious about it, and maybe they're not exactly ready again, that the water hasn't totally come to a boil. I just want to stay top of mind for them for when they hit that red line, just like I did, they know they need to make a change. Time Boss is literally the easy button for them to make the change that they want to make. And unfortunately, it's like it's not always at the exact moment they meet you at the first time. So you really just got to stick with them.
100%. I'm curious. So it sounds like when you mentioned the readiness piece, a piece of it is getting in front of the right people and making sure you're having the right conversations.
100%. Yeah, because of what we're doing, think of it if you were to go in and sell strategy to a company, like you're not going to sell strategy to a mid manager. Like you have to be talking to the person that is ultimately able to implement that change because it's such a transformational component of the business. So our economic buyer is typically the CEO or someone in the C-suite of these 20 to 100 person companies. Like they have authority. They believe what we believe and they want it to be true in their organization. And we're not typically selling much lower than that. We get discovered lower than that. We may speak or get referred in, but
Right.
ultimately we're looking to find that key leader that's going to be able to make the decision.
I'm curious, what do you feel is the biggest challenge to scaling this up even further?
Because of right now, the way we're focused around referral business advisors, there is a gate to that. I've worked, again, I worked in early stage software. We just built conversion funnels. And if we put 100,000 people at the top of the funnel, we knew how many were going to get to the bottom. And so I think for Kelly and I, my wife and business partner, it's been a bit of a transition process away from, okay, we're not just going to run a basic conversion funnel on this business. We need to think differently about it. And so I think so far, that's been the gating process. We are strategically looking, really what my long-term vision would be two things. One is I want to do all the one-on-one coaching because I love it. Like it is the thing that gives me the most energy to sit down with a leader who's getting incredible results for their business and is utterly burning out in the process, is afraid to change anything because they think if I change anything, I'm not going to keep getting those results. Literally, like their anxiety disorder is what is giving them the results they're getting. And so I love sitting with leaders like that and saying, we're going to keep getting those results, but we are literally going to swap out the back end of your brain and operate differently where you continue to get those results, but you do it without overwhelm. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be a CEO of a 100 employee company. That's not what I'm interested in. I love spending time with people, and then I love the framework. So I want to go one on one, and and then the other way that I really see us scaling is we're going to write a book and we're going to go real broad with the messaging, which I think is going to fill up that our middle offerings, which is our courses and workshops. And then really I'm looking to either license or partner with other coaches to deliver those experiences so that I can focus on writing, speaking, and doing the one-on-one. That's really our long-term vision where we're trying to head. So the key gates to that right now is one, just writing the book.
Yeah,
And then two, just continuing to develop out our referral partnerships and our business advisors to give us access to do more of those type of opportunities.
I love that. That's exciting, man. I'm sure when it comes to managing your time to figure out when you're gonna write the book, you got that all figured out.
Yeah, I got that a lock. Really, it's this, what I mentioned is this consolidation of all that we've learned the last 2 years has really been the gate. Before I actually already wrote a workbook that I scrapped because I knew it wasn't good enough yet. It wasn't simple enough yet. And so I'm excited now having this kind of content tome, if you will, to prioritize time. And it really is just time. So anything you want is on the other side of time, and you
Yeah,
just have to architect your world to invest in the things time wise that you want to make happen.
I love that. What is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Easiest way is LinkedIn, or they can come to our website, timeboss.us. There's a bunch of options there to get connected from. If they're just curious about the model, they can learn all about it, or they can schedule time with us directly from there.
Awesome. Andrew, thank you so much for your time today.
So thanks, Ammar. Really great to be here. Really appreciate it.
Time. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to reach out to Andrew Hartman on LinkedIn. You can also go to timeboss.us. We'll have it linked around here, so it'll be pretty easy, but it's also just timeboss.us. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, if you're a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.